I'd like to ask you a question. Would you ever give your enemy poison if you had the chance? If they were out of the room and left their food on the table, would you poison it and sit back and watch them choke to their death? Many people would jump at that opportunity and take it and enjoy the show. Others would rather avoid harming other humans and not engage in any acts of that nature. Now, what if I asked you the following? Would you poison a relative? What about a friend? How about your own child? Ridiculous, isn't it? Oh my God, how could you even ask that question? Unbelievable, right? What if I told you most people do that deliberately on a daily basis? Yes, people poison their children and themselves every single day, and you're probably one of them. How? Take a look at what you put on the table in front of them. Do you give them a proper, nutritious, balanced meal? Or do you shove countless grams of sugar and processed chemicals down their throats in the form of things that are supposed to resemble food? What's the link between sugar and disorders like ADHD or even Alzheimer's? We're going to take a deep look at all of that today and try to get to the bottom of what's really going on with the food we put in our systems and whether or not we're digging our graves with our own hands. Welcome to Finding Freedom. All right, citizens of Earth, welcome to another thought-provoking edition of Finding Freedom, the show that empowers you to become the freest version of yourself, one critical question at a time. Today, we're posing a question that's got us scratching our heads and foraging through our pantries like raccoons under the influence. Is the food industry actually designed to keep us hooked, sick, and feeling like we've been hit by a truck? Let's take a closer look. Now let's talk about sugar. The average kid these days is chugging down about 19 teaspoons of sugar daily. That's enough glucose to power a small town or send a kid into hyperactive orbit. According to the American Heart Association, this sugar overload is linked to all sorts of issues like ADHD and behavioral quirks that have kids bouncing off the walls. But instead of adjusting their diets, schools and doctors pressure parents to give their children pills like Ritalin and Adderall. And all these, of course, come with side effects that make you wonder if you're trying to calm a kid down or turn them into a tranquilized panda. Cheers to that, Big Pharma. Now let me paint this beautiful picture for you. Your favorite food brands and Big Pharma holding hands and skipping down a road paved with sugar and salt. A study in globalization and health found that over half of the top food companies have board members who moonlight on pharmaceutical boards. Coincidence? I think not. These companies pump out snacks that skyrocket your blood pressure faster than a caffeine binge, just so they can sell you pills to bring it back down. It's as if they're playing both sides of the health game, and we're the unsuspecting, oblivious players. Now let's talk about those seemingly healthy granola bars and other health food imposters. They're loaded with high fructose corn syrup and chemicals that you couldn't pronounce even if your life depended on it. Health Impact News tells us these snacks are like a Trojan horse of inflammation and heart trouble. Did you ever wonder why your bread feels so squishy? It's because it's packed with azodicarbonamide, also found in flip-flops and yoga mats. Namaste indeed. This chemical can mess with your breathing and trigger allergies. And don't even get me started on those seed oils like canola oil treated with hexane. It's like they're seasoning your salad with a side of industrial solvent. Delicious. I have a serious problem with the word diet. It's because people have hijacked that word and made it to become something you do temporarily, kind of like your New Year's resolution to stop binge watching ridiculous TikTok trends. Eating healthy should be a lifestyle, not a trend. People want to jump on a diet for a few weeks and think that'll fix their lifetime of bad decisions. It doesn't exactly work that way. Healthy eating is a way of life, not a temporary fix to a permanent problem. A study in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition connects the dots between junk food diets and brain fog, dementia, and other mental issues. The Global Burden of Disease study tells us poor diet is the leading cause of death worldwide. Now, whether you're an unapologetic meat eater like myself, or a vegan that won't stop talking about how vegan you are, it's hard to dispute that getting back to nature is always the best option. Growing your own food and reconnecting with nature isn't just for hippies and hipsters, Although it can be, it's a way of freeing yourself from the system that's trying to keep us addicted and sick, both physically and mentally. The food industry, with help from Big Pharma, seems adamant on keeping us addicted, sick, and feeling terrible. But understanding their game plan gives us the power to make better choices. We need to educate ourselves on what we're putting into our mouths every single day. Now, here's a crazy idea. Start by reading what's on the label of the foods you buy. If it has things in there that sound like they could fix your car engine, it's probably best to avoid it. Make it a habit to read product labels before you buy them. If you can't grow your own food, go to your local farmer's market and get to know the farmers on an individual basis. Develop a relationship with them and ultimately with the food that you eat. Is it easier to just eat whatever's convenient and readily available and not put any effort into educating yourself about your health and nutrition? Of course. But life is not necessarily meant to be easy, and that is the bitter truth. But at the same time, it's not overly complicated to just stick the basics. At the end of the day, it's up to us whether food is our best friend that gives us life, energy, and limitless potential, or it's our worst enemy that takes away our health, our vitality, and ultimately destroys our lives. I really hope this made you reconsider your eating habits and at least ignited the urge to start on a path towards a better nutritional future for you and the people you care about. Thank you for joining me on the journey towards finding freedom. Until next time, stay critical, stay curious, and most importantly, stay free.